Ready to get started? Great, thanks. With the quorum present, I'd like to call this meeting of the Co-op Budget Committee to order at 6:30 p.m. This is a regular meeting of the Co-op Budget Committee, which normally occur on the fourth Thursday of each month. Due to the holidays, the December meeting was rescheduled to tonight. The agenda was posted more than 24 hours in advance on the SAU41.org website and physically posted at the SAU office, HBMS, and HBHS. I would like to introduce myself, Darlene Mann, and the Budget Committee members present for tonight's meeting, which are Tom Enright, John Cross, Lauren Ridstrom, Earl Blanchet, Matt McGuire, Brian Rader, and Dave Flynn have excused absences for this evening. And I'd like to also introduce B.A. Kelly Seeley and our Superintendent Andy Corey, who are attending this evening's meeting. If you could all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to ask if there are any agenda adjustments for the evening. See none. I'll move on to appointment of our meeting observer, who will be Matt tonight. This changes so often. I'm not even sure. I can't remember who. I think Carl, you were the meeting observer last time. So we'll go with Matt for tonight, who's also doing our minutes. Speaking of which, we have minutes of the 11/29 meeting, which was the last time that we met, that were distributed. If I'll take a motion at this point to accept the minutes from the 11/29 meeting as written. Thank you. Seconded.
I second.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the minutes of the 11/29 meeting?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So we have 1, 2, 5, 0, 1. Tom abstaining. Can move right past public input, seeing as we have no public present this evening, and jump right into the part of the agenda, which is an FY20 budget review, and some, the remainder of the items that we have on the agenda are all related to that budget, being the STEM expansion, some updates on the SAU budget as a result of some items that came up at the last meeting, and then the school board update follows. So beginning with the FY20 budget, I sent out to everyone the most recent round 4 view that included a list of some phase 1, 2, and 3 reductions. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Andy and Kelly to address the changes, your review, and we'll have a discussion.
I know who to grab the mic. I'm on the second last page of the Excel spreadsheet. All right, I'll just run through.
So that's, if you're on the laptop, it's the tab labeled Superintendent's View Round 4 at the
Okay.
bottom.
The last time the budget committee met, they approved a guidance number that we were above by $359,942.58. At that point, we hadn't factored in, I believe, the bond payment, but the request was for us to look at the budget and come back with some recommendations in phases so that we could look at the cuts, figure out where we were, and then make a decision. So Kelly and I, working with Gina, Bob, and Rick, and Amy, went through the budget again. First, you may realize from our recent discussions at the SAU that we had some additional transportation costs. So the first thing we did was add the $36,684 of the increase in transportation from the most recent 3-year contract that the SAU board approved. We made some various small adjustments to subtract $4,154.97. We made an adjustment to the textbooks in Spanish for $1,997. Since last time we met, we had a physical education teacher retire, and the Budget Committee may not be aware, but the school board approved the use of extended learning opportunities for physical education, and we believe that will reduce the number of sections required of that teacher. So we reduced that from a full-time position down to a .6 for a savings of $31,720. At this point, working across the SAU, we realize that as much as we need a facilities director, the budgets across the SAU just wouldn't handle it this year. So we took out the co-op share of $54,724. We did the same with the sub-nurse, $25,732. We reduced some Project Lead the Way purchases by $8,000. What we're able to do is find that they will qualify for a grant. So we will not be taking those out of the budget, we'll just be moving them into a different funding source. Newsella was a program requested by the middle school. Upon further discussions with Bob, we felt that we had enough online programs that would mirror that, so that we would make that sacrifice. Again, the middle school smart board, this year was the first time in many years that the federal government came back out with Title IV funding. And it was only about $10,000, but it was dedicated to technology. So we're moving that middle school smart board out of the operating budget into the Title IV funding. The food service servers, the way we're running right now, we feel confident that we may be able to afford that out of the food service budget. Our new food service director is doing an outstanding job, and we thank her for her efforts. We removed the camera upgrades of $42,193. We are just going to move the field hockey goals probably into the athletic trust for $4,500. And we moved the high school roof into the maintenance trust, that phase of it for $35,000. So in phase one of the additional reductions that we are recommending, I believe if I read this correct, it's $222,620.97. If you go to the next page, we have three, what I'll call smaller
Well, the phase two.
reductions. The Hollis Brookline High School window seals for $2,500. We're reducing that from the request. We're also reducing the request of money for pest control by down to taking $2,500 out of that, excuse me. And then we are looking at ways, we believe that we'll only need a .2 French at either the middle school or high school, but originally they were both in there. So we're taking out the $11,216 for that section. So in phase two, we reduce another $16,216. And then our last recommendation is that we take the day tank replacement, which are required under the new law, for $39,564, and we also move that to the maintenance trust. So that would bring our total reductions of down to $278,400.97. That's where we stand right now. That's where I feel that from an educational standpoint, we have a very strong budget, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So I just want to make sure, what's included in the detailed line items are all the phase one reductions.
Right.
Not phase two and not phase
Right.
three.
Because we'd really rather not make those.
Right.
Right. And then, so what's also then included in the phase one, round four view is the day tank replacement in the budget, not the maintenance trust.
Correct.
There was one other, there was another,
The section of roof?
no, the drinking water testing in the
That's in the
budget.
budget as well,
Not,
yeah.
okay. And then the roof you said was going to be
Right.
going to the trust.
Right.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page with that. It also includes the higher bond amount, the payment for the
The
bond
200,000,
that was
yes.
for
Mhm.
the field. And, okay, so everyone's clear on kind of what's in the view that we're looking at. So just going back to the, oh, I know, that you were, we were talking about the camera upgrades. Is that removing the piece that we would have we were talking about the funding of the camera upgrades that were gonna be partially funded by, a grant, and if the grant were not, well, we have to fund a percentage of it anyway if we get the grant. but
Right.
So is there any amount in the budget for the cameras? Or is
No,
that
we've
just-
taken it all
you've
out.
taken the security
We
cameras?
don't really have a funding source, so that would have to be something we find if we get the grant.
Okay,
And from a middle school standpoint, after talking with Bob, he's very comfortable with, I would say, our capabilities to see the property now via the cameras. We did have a discussion on next phase that the high school does involve a lot of the parking lot for security and safety. So Rick and I have discussions about the parking lot funds because we don't see, unless we decide to do something with a piece of dirt lot, we're collecting those funds that
Right.
really should be spent on the students' behalf, and it would provide further security for their cars. So that would probably most likely become the funding source. But again, I think you'll see a wealth of applicants for the grants again,
yeah,
and I'm just not sure what level the state will be able to fund.
right. Okay. Okay.
So if you get the grants, but you haven't really set aside monies to co-pay
Mhm.
for the total amount, can you use that as for purposes of now raising the funds to then apply the grants? In other words, or is there like a time limit associated with when can you use those
It-
funds from the
The
grant?
present grants we're in are the April of the following year. So the grants we received last year, we have until April of 2019 to spend them. So if we get, my understanding is if we qualified for this grant, we would have till April of 2020. And we have the existing pool of parking money, Raul, and then we would have next year's collection for parking.
So
I
there
think
is time to adjust and time to
Yes.
plan